I am Command Sergeant Major Ronaldo Emmanuel Jordan, United States Army Paratrooper, retired.
My name is Captain Taylor, USMC-R, which stands for United States Marine Corps Reserve.
I'm Sergeant Edna Jordan, U.S. Air Force.
Lieutenant Colonel Charles Cross, retired U.S. Army.
Who was I? I was a young girl who wanted to do something in a service capacity.
Well, in high school, I grew up in Cleveland. I was always interested in the military. I read a lot of military history books.
I was just a little kid who had ambitions of hopefully either playing soccer professionally or baseball.
I guess I was patriotic from the get-go. My dad was a Marine colonel, and so that was kind of embedded in our family.
I knew I wanted to experience the military, so I chose to go to college locally and go to Officer Candidate School, which is Marine Corps Officer Candidate School, during the summers.
I was 9 years old in Panama. A street's called Calle Los Pinos. In English, it's Pine Street, and we was playing stickball. And every now and then, we was able to see American paratroopers jumping out of airplanes.
When I graduated from college, I would graduate with my degree, but also I'd be commissioned as a reserve officer with a obligation to serve 4 years of active duty.
I graduated from high school in '69, so Vietnam was still going on. And I had buddies that came straight out of high school, joined the Army, because they wanted to, I guess, go to Vietnam and fight for what we were doing. And I had a talk with my dad about it, and he said, well, he says, you can join the Army and go in as enlisted, or do you want to go in as an officer? Well, it being the fact that my dad was a retired full-bird colonel, or lieutenant colonel rather at the time, I said, well, I think I want to be an officer. He said, well, then you got to go to college. So I selected the Citadel, and that's where I ended up going for 4 years.
And this one particular day, after the paratroopers disappeared behind the trees, I turned to my friends and I said, that's going to be me one day.
When I went into the Air Force, I was naive, I feel. You know, I was extremely shy.
The day I became active would have been the day that I graduated from college.
I told my mom I would wait. She wanted me to wait before I went into the military because that's all I focused on. I didn't care about anything else. I didn't care about going to college. I didn't care about trying to get a career going in the economy.
I mean, I went by myself. I'm determined. Once I make up my mind, you know, there's no, I wasn't wishy-washy about it. I just went in, signed up. They were thrilled to have me.
I read the contract and I said, okay, I'm good. So I signed the contract. Sergeant Joseph looked at me and said, no, I can start calling you by your first name. I said, well, what do you mean? Private.
So I got my college degree, and then there was another ceremony. I think it was myself and one other person from the school, the college I was attending, were commissioned by the officers that had recruited us. So that was like a little ceremony. And you know, it's a very proud moment for me. I got to wear the uniform, the whole thing. And then I got my orders to report to officer basic school.
And I left, and it all began.
I had to wait till I graduated my senior year in order to go to, I guess, the ROTC boot camp, which was at Fort Bragg.
I reported to Quantico for 6 months of what they call the basic school.
Was it Lackland Air Force Base, Texas?
I went to basic training at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
We reported there in June, and we all graduated in August.
One thing that I liked about basic training was, you know, the physical aspect of it. You know, it was It was a good challenge.
It was both scary, but fun at the same time. And the reason why I say fun at the same time, because it's something I know I wanted.
It was challenging. I don't think I had a true understanding of what it was going to be like. I was a little bit naive.
OCS is like boot camp, but it's physically more demanding because it's officer candidate schools. They're trying to weed out.
I don't know if you can really even put it into words.
Well, it's a very proud moment because, you know what, being a called a Marine, as a Marine, you get to put the bars on and everything else, and you know, it's a very proud moment. It's an accomplishment. You feel like you've done something that other people haven't done.
It was, yeah, I guess a proud moment that you made it through, and now you are an officer.
There's an esprit de corps with the Marine Corps that you lack with every other branch. It's very clear, and wanted to be part of the elite.
Nothing could ruin my day. I mean, I was a paratrooper. I was an engineer paratrooper at the home of the airborne. I mean, life just could not get any better than that.
I started out as an infantry officer.
Well, tip of the spear. I felt like I definitely wanted something with combat arms. I knew that.
We always parachuted in everywhere we went. Went to Honduras twice, we parachuted in.
I was really an excellent marksman. They used to call me Eagle Eyes Torres in basic training. So,
I went from infantry to Ordnance Corps, which gave me an opportunity to get into EOD, which is the Army's bomb disposal.
It was just a matter of which combat arms. I thought it'd be cool to drive around in a tank.
Went to West Virginia, parachuted in.
I worked in the lab in the hospital squadron.
And then went from Ordnance into the Chemical Corps, which I found interesting because, as I told the branch, I can't even spell chemistry. I'm a history major. Why are you sending me there?
Went to Montana, parachuted in. Everywhere we went, we parachuted in, and it was an awesome feeling. And I loved it. I did it as long as I could.
I mean, I enjoyed working in a laboratory setting. I still enjoy working in a laboratory setting.
Ultimately, I chose the infantry, and I don't regret it. It was a great choice.
I did that and was stationed at Edwards Air Force Base in Mojave Desert, California, and spent the rest of my time there.
I was in that era of the Army that was referred to as the Cold War.
In around 1986, 1987 timeframe, our enemy at the time, or I would say our foe, whatever you want to call it, was Iran.
The Islamic News Agency said the U.S. has become involved in a full-fledged war with Iran.
A lot of people don't realize that at one time Germany, we had a wall that separated us from the Russians, and the reason the Army was there was to defend Europe if the Russians decided to invade. I was in Germany when Desert Storm broke out.
For the Gulf War, the most I would say when it comes to the thick of it, I was lucky enough to be part of what was considered the breach team, going up along one of the MSR's main supply routes going into Iraq.
We did war games, which was, they were as realistic as they could try to make them.
So I did serve a tour or a deployment as part of a joint task force in the Persian Gulf to ensure that the Revolutionary Guard were not closing it off, because at the time they were attacking tankers, they were laying mines.
The Army kept sending me to Iraq. I went to Iraq so much I could have probably bought real estate in Iraq. And Mosul was the place that it just seemed to just draw me to Mosul.
And the brigade I was assigned to was being deployed to Kuwait for Iraq. But because the war basically was only 100 days or 100 hours, and they told us to halt, turn around, and go back.
To the left of me, we had MLRSs, the multi-missile launchers, and then to the right, we had 105s and 155 howitzer guns shooting. All the guns would line up side by side. They will unleash what we call unleash hell on the enemy. Then they will pack up, we'll move up, and we saw the decimation that they created. And along the way, we just kept on doing that.
We were there, you know, serving a presence as a deterrent.
When it came to the global war on terrorism, at a FOB Morass in Mosul, Iraq, we could hear the rounds overhead. Every now and then, you would hear mortar coming in. You just hit the ground. It would just blow around you. Once it was all clear, you just make sure all your people are good to go, got the fingers and toes, you send a report up, everybody's good to go.
When American warships shelled and destroyed 2 Iranian oil platforms and then raided another.
Essentially, it escalated to where we sank a couple of their naval frigates and some of their ships, and then they basically backed off. I think they got the message.
They shoot at us, we shoot at them. Bullets went over our head. If we wasn't in no real danger, it was about getting the mission done. That was it.
If I hadn't joined the military, I don't think I would have had an opportunity to, I was stationed in Massachusetts and New England. I would have never gone there.
Well, I've been to Japan. I trained with the Japanese Defense Forces in Japan. I spent time in Okinawa.
Went to Korea, went to Germany.
Suez Canal.
So I got to visit several parts of Italy, Rome, Venice, Verona, Milano. I learned how to ski in Italy.
Spent time in Kuwait.
While stationed in Italy, I was able to go to Germany, Turkey, England. We actually got to jump over Stonehenge. That was pretty cool. Oh, Honduras 2 times. And then, of course, I had my first war, which was the Gulf War.
Persian Gulf, in the middle of the Persian Gulf, spent a lot of time there.
So I was in Saudi Arabia and in Iraq, of course. That's where the war occurred.
That was, to me, probably one of the biggest attractions to the military was the travel. It just dawned on me that I've been in a military uniform for 52 years.
The military played a role in the sense that I think I was able to grow as a person.
The values that the Army bestows in you, the way of life, the camaraderie, the purpose of why we exist, you know, it's embedded in me. It's a part of who I am.
Yeah, I think it definitely is important, made me who I am today.
2 things from the Air Force. 1, I think I was able to grow as a person and not be as shy as I was.
It's hard to find a Marine who isn't proud of the fact that they served in the Marines. I mean, anybody around here knows I've got the paraphernalia and so forth because I'm proud of my service.
The other big thing that came out of the military and the Air Force was my husband. You know, he has been an amazing part of my life. You know, we've been married for a very long time now. I'm not going to say how long. But I think that both of those things together has made me who I am today.
It has been my life. But I mean, and it's one that I've loved. It's not for everybody. Would I repeat it? Oh yeah, I'd do it again.